You already know who it is. It's real with Team Pisces. And we're back with another segment. And today we're going to be talking about Geminis. Now, Geminis is known as the twins of the zodiac. And when it comes to the twins, we got one foot on the other. Hey, it's a mismatch. And hey, it's a contradiction in itself. So we got two faces with two different stories. Also, we're going to expose these 15 Gemini lies that the world must know. See, and I'm going to tell y'all why people secretly cannot stand Geminis. What's going on, Vandal? What's going on? Is that Brianna? What's going on? So, like, when it comes to Geminis, we got to really watch what's being said versus what's being done. Now, okay, just appreciate that. So, like, why I said what is being said versus what is being done. Now, when it comes to a Pisces in particular, when you're dealing with a Gemini, you gotta be very, very careful because you can't use your emotions to try to figure them out. You can't try to reason and think that, oh, that person, he or she, is going to feel where you're coming from. See, I always look at it like double dutch for you women out there, or for you women out there that used to play that jump rope game, double dutch. And when you turning, you turning, the ropes, and then you got to find just that right time to hop in, and then you got to keep the momentum and the tempo in order to actually jump rope. Well, that's the same thing when it comes to a Gemini. You got to catch a Gemini at the right time. See, when you're a Pisces, you can't respond to the superficialness that comes from them. Because let's say, for example, what's going on, Discover Top 10? Welcome. Okay, I see you. What's your everybody sign and whatnot? Drop them in the chat. And see, the thing about it is, the people can't stand Gemini. I'm not being biased when I say this. I'm just going off of statistics, spectators and people that have had experiences with Geminis. And a lot of people are saying that when they deal with a Gemini, they say that they don't do what they say. It's almost like when it comes to superficiality, it's like, how do you just sporadically just say, okay, I'm having a birthday party and I need 8 people or 10 people are invited randomly, right? Who's going to come to that party? Let's say you guys work for this particular Gemini that's doing this. And she's like, hey, I'm having a birthday party, but actually I have 11 seats. So who's coming? And it's like right on the spot, you might feel like you're obligated to go to that party, or else, because the Geminis like to be the boss. They like to boss people around. They like to be in positions of control, and they are not so much interested in taking orders from someone else. What's going on? Vandal said, Purdy said, thank you for mentioning the woman's side as well. Yeah, see, the Gemini, for Pisces, a Gemini, I would say a Gemini man could actually be a little bit more easier to deal with versus a Gemini woman. The Gemini woman, she can be all over the place. It could be from her laundry list. It could be from her day-to-day activities. And only she knows how to keep up with her own things, her own situations, her own business, whatever she has going on. Gemini has that complexity to deal with the very things that she has got, she has for herself. So as you begin to hear everything, don't sit there and try to figure out, oh, the routine and how it should go and how she's going to have time for all of the stuff that she has going on, because she will make time. Now, this is the problem. You do not know when to take the Gemini seriously or serious, or however you want to say it. You don't have, that's why I say it's like double dutch. It's like the jump ropes, and you got that certain time when you jump in order to actually jump rope without actually messing up the whole game. But when you are dealing with a Gemini, you don't know whether they're telling the truth or whether they're lying. See what's going on? Zoo, hope I'm saying your name right. Zoe or Lion, I hope I'm saying your name right. Welcome. You said Europa the last battle. I'll check it out. No, I haven't seen that. Oh, hooligan. Okay, my fault. Yeah, I'm pretty been butchering names, man. Yeah, my bad though. Yeah, I have to check that out. But see, when you're dealing with the language and the behavior of a Gemini, you do not know where they're coming from. So it's like what you may hear from their mouth might sound like something that somebody said to you before, and you might think that, oh, that's what that Gemini meant. No, because they can play without actually playing. You know, they can play with words and not actually mean them. So it's like you don't really know if you're getting an authentic version of what they're saying. They could be, for instance, they could throw you off so bad to where they could be absolutely gung-ho, dead-ass serious, right? And then you could think that they're playing because they always, throw that cherry on top and say, oh, I'm just kidding. But that one day you might think that, oh, I'm just kidding, is this gonna come out of their mouth? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh no, I'm serious. I'm not playing with you. And it's like, whoa, I thought you, normally you're lighthearted and jokey and, giddy and everything. Now I guess you're in a bad mood. But it's like, you only got one time. This is what's not fair. You only got one chance and one time when you're dealing with a Gemini. And I mean to mess up, to do something that irritates them, because as soon as you do so, then you become this stigma. You become this stick of gum that's stuck to the ground where, hopefully no one steps on it, because it's like they will not let up and let off of you. Once you piss them off, you are on thin ice. Now, yeah, so I'll check it out, hooligan. Let's see, Brianna says, said as air, you guess they made you kind of bubbly. Who? Yeah, what you mean by that, Brianna? What you said about his air? Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. I got kind of misframed because, I just got off work, so my mind is just, adjusting to this live segment. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, definitely, because the air, it blows with the elements. So when you're dealing with a Gemini, you're dealing with a mixed bag. You ever went to those birthday parties, and then, if the kids got a mixed bag, treat bag or whatnot, you don't know what's coming with it. It might, for all you know, it might actually just be charcoal. Somebody got the dark, somebody got the charcoal, but hey, they thought they was gonna get Tootsie Rolls. So it's like, yeah, you don't know what you're gonna get. And then the bubbliness within their personality is almost like Libra's charm in such a way. Because now I'm gonna tell you, if you really were to look at Libra using this same method, at least Libra aligns their behavior to what they say. So it is much more like that Libra is being a little more transparent than Gemini, because Gemini, it's almost like they switch up on you according to how you respond. See? And then also they play these mind games because they test you to see what you're going to do. So they might say, oh, they sporadically might say, oh, I'm having a birthday party, but they'll actually say something that is more personal and bring it to work, and then put everybody on their toes. And it's like, oh, You might feel like victimized, like why is she inviting everybody to her birthday party and she's using our lunch break for it? Like, why did she just, send us some flyers, on our way out from work, or, email us or do something? Why is she putting us on the spot? And then that's when you see, if you're a Pisces, you're going to automatically pick up on these cues. And you're going to say to yourself, why did she use a lunch break to, present this invitation? Why didn't she just use an email? Or why didn't she just, because she's trying to see who's the first. She wants to see who's the first, thirsty one to, basically please her. Oh, I'll come. And it's like she knows what she's doing. So it's all mentally calculated to where she knows what game she's playing. You just don't know that it's actually a game being played. But you have to see, this is what I'm trying to teach you guys. You have to pull back. See, Gemini, she or he or she, they are like this, just like Taurus. We got to do it right now. See, who's coming to my party? And if you take too long to answer, guess the Gemini is going to feel some type of way. You see how indirect that is? Like, how do you say something and you sporadically put an invitation out with no preparation? You don't give people time to actually see if they can come. You just think that everybody's going to drop what they're doing just to come to your party, right? And then you begin to notice that, oh man, dang, I feel pressured, or I feel all these different emotions and, different things going on internally. But I'm going to tell you, when it comes to why people don't like them, is because they use the white lies for entertainment. See, Gemini, they will lie just to keep a conversation going. They can make up something on a whim and they'll go with it if it's making people like engaged socially. And see, yeah, definitely Brianna said, well, we try not to respond much because people can assume and use it. Yeah, definitely. And that's how Pisces is. We hold back. We don't necessarily say what we want to say right away, especially if we know it'll be used against us. And a lot of times we're just very, very careful so we don't get hurt. See, so it's like, wait a minute, if I say this, then it could all just backfire. Am I really ready for that? Yes or no? And then it's like, no. So here's the thing. See, Geminis, they lie to keep that conversation going, and it's annoying because you don't even realize that a Gemini is doing this when they're doing it. You think they're just talking, and you just know this is a good conversation. You don't know that that's just what the Gemini wants, because they hate silence. They hate silence. They hate any type of quiet, peaceful situation. They'll talk to anybody. As long as you could be a 4-year-old and they'll talk, as long as you talk back. Could you look at Donald Trump just walking past and hey, nobody's in the room? He Donald Trump is going to say something. Regardless of who you are, he's going to say something. And that's how Geminis are. You got to be very careful when you get into a conversation with them, because that lying and doing all those mind games will really throw you off to it, and then it could confuse you. And then all of a sudden, when you start to talk to other people, sometimes you could get that feeling of insecurity. You could feel like, wow, what if I just start talking to this person? Am I really going to be having a legitimate conversation? Or this is just going to be some type of game? Now, the thing about it is, like you said, Brianna, is that people feel manipulated when the truth comes out. Once they realize the Gemini was just full of crap and just lying for entertainment and attention, then it's all of a sudden people feel like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me we were just sitting there talking and then, this was all a game, or hey, that wasn't even a situation? That's why you have to wait before you respond when Gemini presents something. Because what's another thing? They test your logic. They test your logic and they test to see if you're dumb. See, that's not fair. That's not fair at all. It's like, how do I know I'm playing a game? To see if I'm dumb or not. See, that's the stuff that people can't stand about Gemini, because then what they end up doing is they make a legitimate decision based off that, which is not fair, and then they judge you. And they say, oh, this person is dumb. Wouldn't you believe that? Yeah, I told Real that I was having a gathering, and he believed me, and I was just joking. Like, that's the type of stuff you gotta watch. Now, the thing about it is inconsistencies. And the worst excuse that you will always hear from a Gemini's mouth, both man and woman, is I forgot. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to call you. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I was supposed to bring a pack of, beer to the party. Or I forgot excuse. They're going to actually stretch it. And see, they pretend to forget promises when they simply just lost interest. See how you're doing something and then you're saying something completely different. That's the two-faced energy from Gemini. Is how they feel, they're not showing you how they really feel. So when they do something, they're saying something else. So it's almost like two opposite voices going out with that have two different personalities, multiple personalities. So you're never going to know, did they really like the situation at hand? Because that's not the story that they're telling. They're not telling that story that, oh, I enjoyed everything. They're saying, oh, yeah, I enjoyed everything. The food was great. But they're saying something to someone else that's like more related to gossipy, like, oh, yeah, that food was terrible. Oh, my God. Like, did you taste the macaroni and cheese? It didn't have any seasoning. Like, for Christ's sakes. They'll do stuff like that, and then it gets people talking, and then it just starts up a chatterbox conversation. It's, and then another thing, you can look at Gemini. When people had dentures, shout out to everybody out there that has that maybe wear dentures, right? But you notice how you could take out your mouth or your teeth, and as it's just clacking. And I'm not talking about bruxism. I'm just saying, like, if your teeth are just boom, 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 you're just bumping the gums, right? You know how in a cartoon or the mad scientists, they take out the mouth grill that's constantly glowing and then they put it in a glass of water. And then why do they put it in a glass of water? See, it's not because then you can't even hear the person talk. Those mouths just going and going. And even if it doesn't go inside of a corpse, it's still going. Because that's how Geminis are. They don't stop. So it becomes an annoyance, because it's like, dude, why are you still talking? You see that? Now, here's the thing. When you are dealing with a Gemini, they could be very unreliable. So don't get caught. Just don't expect them to keep their word, because they have a very, very high chance to cancel, not show up, and then I forgot excuse comes out. Now, next thing is double lives. See, now, have you guys ever met somebody that lived a double life? Maybe they had two boyfriends, two girlfriends, a wife, and then a baby mama, a wife, and then a side piece, a snack, whatever it could be, right? So when it comes to a Gemini living a double life, they had a twin energy, see? And that's what makes them act different. You cannot expect, see, this is the thing everybody hates. They act different with different people. So that's why you may feel like a Gemini is only, being a certain way around you. But then when they talk to Billy Bob, it's not the same. It's like, oh, wait a minute. You're a different person when you're around Joseph or Joey or whoever it is. It's like, wait a minute. You don't talk to me the same way. See? And a lot of times you don't even get to meet those other social groups that they have. Now, the next thing is that when people realize this, they feel betrayed because the stories never match. See? That same conversation they had with you, it is a completely different story when it's told to somebody else. See, that they know They telling us different story. So it's, I'm not having a party this year. That's the one conversation with one person. Then with you, I need 11 people to show up. So it's like, wait a minute, which one is it? So that's, that's what you got to watch out with. Now, the next thing is over promising. Because of that whole I forgot excuse, when they over promise, that's when it goes into a Gemini just agreeing to everything. You say something and, oh yeah, I got you. Oh yeah, I'll make sure that happens. And then it's like they do all of this with it's just flakiness. They'll say they're gonna do this, do that. Yeah, I got you. I'll give you a ride tomorrow. And they could be very flaky with not owning up to their word or keeping their word on what they said they was gonna do. So that's something you want to watch. Next thing is masking their feelings. That's going back to you're feeling angry, but then you're acting like, oh, it's all good. That's something you gotta watch with a Gemini. Because they'll lie about being fine. Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, everything's great. Oh, they're full taste, And then it's like two seconds later, they're fed up about, hey, being there, being invited. They're complaining about the lousy invitation and, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And it's like, wait a minute, why don't you just say how you feel? But that's why people don't trust their emotions. See? So people, when they dealing with a Gemini that's flaky, and then they start to, to run and go off into things, then people are like, you know what, you're just full of it. It's just all BS, right? Now, the next thing you got to be careful about is gossip twist. See, they love information just like Libra. They love the stimulation that comes with a conversation. So when they're dealing with those gossip twists, like I said, they'll bend the truth just for the story to sound more entertaining when they're gossiping. See? So you got to be careful. Anybody that ever talks so much without letting someone else get a turn, you got to watch that. And see, people stop trusting Geminis with their secrets because of that. Now, the next thing you got to watch out for, and this is more of betrayals, when a Gemini stabs you in the back, because that is the true outcome. And it's the true outcome when you're dealing with a Gemini. They're very capable of stabbing you in the back. They are considered the twins, which are the swords. So that's with the swords going like on a X, like with two twins holding the swords. They're basically waiting for, as soon as you turn your back, they're being two-faced. Their face is not actually showing you any I can't, when it comes to this word, you guys, it always chokes me up. But when it comes to being authentic, okay, authenticity, or however you say it, but yeah, when it comes to the swords, they're very capable of stabbing you in the back. So when this happens, they'll always put that smile on and say, oh, I was just joking. They'll say something that's very, very, just bad or disrespectful, and then they'll just turn around and say, oh yeah, I was just playing, I was just joking, man. And and then all of a sudden that's a lie. See, that's like saying everybody knows what is a lie and what is the truth. And see, when you're telling the lies, there's no facts. And then when it comes to, it's a lot of noises, you guys. I'm sorry, and I know the light is just dimming and it's dark, and I understand the quality, but this dude, this freaking I'm not even gonna say that all in the live. I'm gonna be friendly for a change. But yeah, when it comes to it's a lot of little beeps and noises. I understand, I do apologize, but I was really trying to get this out. So when it comes to them joking, they're basically lying in this aspect, in this situation, so other people can feel like they're being mocked, okay, and played with. Now, the next thing is that when it comes to romance, just know that they able to be two-faced in that romantic light. So one for me, and yeah, we're gonna hit off, we're gonna be married to death do us. This same Gemini is the player. This same Gemini is the one cheating on you. See, after they done said all that all the lovey-doveys. Now, See, Lord CUB, you said I got tricked into thinking that was my moon, but learned a lot about the two-siders. Yeah, and see, like, I got Black Moon Lilith in Gemini. So that pretty much tops the actual sun Gemini, like ×2 to like the 10th power, if you want to say that. So another thing is that Geminis, as the moving, like, you know, with the element, as they move like the air, right?